Welcome back to Checkmate with Blake, and today I'm going to teach you guys about a chess tactic that you can use to win more games and improve your elo. Now this chess tactic is not very often studied, it's not very commonly understood, however, it is very powerful, and if you understand it, you can use this tactic to win more games. In a lot of positions, if you don't know this tactic, you won't even look for it. But this tactic that I'm talking about is called the decoy. Before we jump right into this video, if you haven't subscribed and you want to join the chess community that we have here today, I'd love to have you guys a part of the community, so feel free to subscribe and like the video if you do enjoy this content. Again, this is the decoy. First of all, we're going to talk about what is the decoy tactic. Now, this tactic does relate to the tactic of deflection. What is deflection, first of all? Deflection is a chess tactic. I do believe I have a video posted on it, but it's a chess tactic where you actually deflect a piece from defending an important square so then you can execute your attack. Now, this tactic, the decoy, as I said, it kind of relates to it. You're actually you're kind of luring a piece into a square that it does not want to be on. Now, in this position, this is kind of obvious, but what we want to do is we notice that if we could force the king here or force the king here, we would have a fork. So how can you lure, that's kind of the idea, lure the king into a square where the knight can execute this attack? Well, you can actually sacrifice the rook here on b8, allowing you to have this beautiful fork here. We lure the king to b8, allowing us to execute our attack. And if you wonder, well, what if the king goes here? Again, now we have the same fork. So we lure the king with the decoy tactic. On to the second one here. Again, these are all part of the decoy tactics, and I want to go ahead and say too, the knight is very commonly used in this tactic. So the knight, there's actually 3 of these positions use the knight to kind of illustrate how the knight is so good at actually executing this tactic. In this one here, we notice that again, the king it looks like it's pretty well protected. It looks like it's pretty safe. However, we have a stunning move, a brilliant move. If we sacrifice the rook here on h8, the king cannot go anywhere. So the king is forced to take. We lure the king again to the h8 square. And what does that accomplish? Well, it allows now a fork where we can take on f7 and have a fork again and pick up a queen. So we go ahead and execute this tactic, and again we win another queen. Now the third one here, we have another decoy tactic. Now this one is an example where I think if you have this in your games, it would be very easy to miss this because it looks again like black is very safe. It looks like their king is very safe. However, again, we have another decoy tactic. Can you see it? Can you spot the move? What the move you play here is you will sacrifice the bishop. Now, why would you sacrifice the bishop? Because again, we're looking at these knight tactics. And notice, if we could attract the king forward, this knight tactic where we play the move knight h5, again, we'll pick up a free queen. So we lure the king forward and we pick up another free queen. I believe that was the last one that we actually talked about the knight. So I'm going to give you guys some examples where we don't use the knight and we use some other pieces. Now here, this is a little more complicated because there's a lot going on here. It's hard to know that we have a tactic in this position, but there is a tactic. Try to spot this before I show the move. Try to spot this idea, knowing that we want to put their pieces on squares they don't want to be on. So what is the pieces, or where's the square that we want to control? Notice we're attacking this bishop, but so we'd love to play a move like queen h6 to pick up the bishop. However, of course, if we play queen h6, they're just going to take our free queen. So what can we do to win a piece? Well, we can actually take this bishop, forcing the rook here. Now, what does the rook being on e3 accomplish? Now when the rook is on e3, now when we play this check, actually we're double attacking, so we've lured the rook into e3 where now we can pick up the rook with this tactic. So you play queen h6 now, and now you pick up the free rook. So again, in this idea, we lured the rook to the tactic of the decoy tactic. We lured the rook to e3 so that we could pick up the free rook. Now, this last one is probably the hardest one. So I really do encourage you guys, please pause this video, try to find this last one, because in this one, it's a very common tactic, but it's really hard to see because, you know, they're attacking our bishop here on b3. Of course, we would just take back, but we have a tactic that wins material. So try to spot this tactic before I show you guys. And again, this is super tricky. This is super tricky, but there is a tactic here. If we play the move rook a2, we will win a piece. Now, you may look at that and say, well, what if just rook captures? Well, if rook captures that rook, then we will take here with a check and then pick up the free rook. So, and if we play this move and they take here, well, then we'll take the free rook with check, and then we'll take the bishop with the pawn. So after you play the move, again, rook a2, notice now we have this check here to pick up the rook back. And like I said, after this move, if they were to take here, we'll take the free rook and then take here. So that's a tactic of Decoy. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, what you're trying to do is lure pieces into where they don't want to be. For example, in this very last one, just to kind of cover it, we're luring the rook into this square because, again, the rook can't go anywhere. We're going to take the free rook here too. So we're luring the rook. We're forcing them to play rook takes a2, and then we take with this check and we take the free piece. So try to spot these tactics in your games because I think that the decoy is very strong, and I think players simply just don't look for the decoy. It's a very advanced tactic, and players just don't look for it. But if you know this tactic, you'll be able to understand positions better and find more tactics in your games, and hopefully win more and improve your elo. Again, if you like this video, I know it's pretty short, but leave a like. It'll help promote the video, and it kind of tells me that you guys want to see this content. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you guys want to see on the next video. I like to make videos that you guys want to see. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to subscribe and join the community that we have here today. Thank you guys so much for watching.